Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and as always, I'm joined by my partner in film, Devin, and today we are here to give our thoughts, our opinions, our comments, our questions, our concerns on perhaps one of the most interesting original horror films of 2024, and that is Cuckoo. But before we begin today's episode, you can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at FilmOptix, or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com. That is Optix with an X for any movie-related questions. And if you've noticed in our episode note description, you can send us a text message on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. It should be at the very top of the episode notes, whether it is Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, you name it, it should be there. As soon as you click on that link, it'll send us a text message with your movie-related questions, comments, questions, or concerns about our podcast or any show or film that we have covered within the past, God knows how many years, gosh knows how many, over 500 episodes we've hit this year of 2024. So that is a pretty awesome feat to have, for sure. We've been doing this for a few years, and it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure of ours to serve you, the listeners out there. But Devin, what's going on? I feel like I ask you the same question every single time, and I don't know how to phrase it.
I have a different one for this episode since we just did back to the gaming side of it. I guess I should have done gaming for Borderlands, but it doesn't matter. Borderlands doesn't deserve to make sense, so we can just do that here. I did beat Detroit Become Human a few days ago. I got a very interesting ending. I think it was like 1% chance, the ending I got. So yeah, that was really cool. That game's really good.
Look at you, getting into the 1% ending of rolling the credits on Detroit Become Human. What are your thoughts of that game collectively, and would you play it again to get a different ending?
I think it was a great game. It actually encouraged me to go back and buy the other games from that studio. Heavy Rain was their first one, I think, and then they also did that Beyond Two Souls game that had, at the time, Ellen Page in it.
Right. Yeah. At the time, Ellen Page.
So yeah, I bought those for $4 a piece, and I'll be playing them at some point.
You get those on Green Man Gaming?
Those were on CD keys. That was the cheapest option I found.
Look at you you're going deep.
Diving deep.
I was going to say, I'm like, oh, is that was that a humble bundle? You're like, no, I went through CD keys and bought those. I was like, wow.
I searched all the sites, and that's the one that came out on top.
You know what? Yeah, because I don't think it's on Green Man Gaming. But those games, Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, both of those games are usually on sale, for pretty cheap during Steam. So I'm definitely, I was actually looking at Beyond Two Souls a while ago, and I was like, I'll wait, because what's the rush? I got a few other things I need to get through. But actually, I bought a new chair for my desk setup. It's a nice all mesh chair. It's amazing, man. Honestly, I think I'd rather more so game at my desk now than at my couch. And I know I'm late to the party when I'm saying something like that, but this chair is so comfortable. It just it props up your back.
The chair is the most important part of the setup, I would say.
Oh, 1,000%. I don't feel like I'm slouching in this thing at all. I'm it's sitting me up. If I want to lean back, I can. If I press back on it hard enough, but it's not one of those chairs where you just seldomly lean back and it just falls back. You actually have to push yourself back into it if you want to kind of lean back into the chair. But no, it's great. I feel like I can conquer the world. It's so breathable. I got it on Amazon for a little bit over $200. It was on sale. It's usually $350. So I was like, it was time. My old chair. Never buy a chair from Costco, people, especially the lazy boy chairs from Costco, because it's terrible for your back, man. But like my back has felt so much better ever since buying this chair. I'm like, dude, I can play my PC games now comfortably. I can play my Switch at my desk. I absolutely love it. But I'm happy that you beat, not Beyond Two Souls, Detroit Become Human, and that you're diving into those games. I feel like those types of story-driven games, the smaller scaled ones, are more popular nowadays, or at least for us, where it's like something of like the Alan Wake scale or like below, where we don't have a lot of time to dive into like a open world like RPG or something like that like all the time. So it's like those smaller experiences where we can still get...
Yeah, I love a good 5 to 20-ish hour game, like in that range. I think they're all like 10 hours.
Like 30 hours, like nowadays, is kind of around like my max, where it's like, okay, you know. But honestly, I know some people actually play their games like on easy. And they're like, hey, I just want to relax, enjoy, and play this game. And I'm like, you know what? Normal, easy, no matter how you slice it, as long as you're enjoying it, as long as you're enjoying the experience at your own leisure, it's like, it's whatever. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? But again, kudos to you for going to CD keys.
It's been working lately.
That's good. I know CD keys can definitely be a hit or miss altogether, but I know we've been talking about video games here for about 5-6 minutes. Let's get into, the reason why we're actually here, and that is to review Cuckoo. So without further delay, we'll be right back after this introduction to Cuckoo.
Mom, I really want to go home. It's getting bad.
How was your journey?
Very pleasant, thank you.
Good.
Gretchen, come say hi.
What's up?
I'm your neighbor. Haven't heard about you.
Why would you have heard about me?
How would you like to come work for me at the resort?
This happens sometimes.
You look like you don't belong here.
Why is there nobody working the reception after 10?
I want you to lock the doors and wait for me. I will come pick you up right now.
And we are back with our Cuckoo review. This film is written and directed by Tilman Singer and stars Hunter Schafer, Dan Stevens, Jessica Henwick, Martin Kasausk, I believe that's how you pronounce that person's name, Mila Liu, and many, many more. There's a few new faces to this film that I actually was not familiar with, but of course, Hunter Schafer, she is the forefront of this entire film. As I mentioned before, this is, to me at least, perhaps one of the most interesting, bonkers, like entertaining original horror film, that we've gotten this year. So I'm actually going to pass it over to Devin so he can give his initial reactions to this film. Devin, what did you think of Cuckoo?
Yeah, going into this one, didn't really know what to expect. I think I saw probably the first trailer that came out, and I was kind of sold based off of that premise. It didn't really give too much away, which was nice. It did kind of give away the one main bike scare that was like in the middle of the movie, which was unfortunate. But I think overall it didn't really give much of the story away. We have Hunter Schafer, who's definitely been on the rise lately. Obviously Euphoria and the Hunger Games movie just kind of keeps rising. And also Dan Stevens, who I sent you that article from, I think it was Buddy Disgusting. We need to start calling Dan Stevens a Scream King. We have Scream Queens. Dan Stevens is becoming the Scream King here. He's just kind of taken over the horror genre. Obviously, earlier this year he had Abigail. You can throw in Godzilla vs. X Kong in there. It's not really horror, but there's monsters in there. He was in The Guest, which was a good horror movie. He's always been floating around. Apostle is another one. And he's just it's so fun when he can play a character where he can just go all out and just like play into the zaniness and wackiness similar to his Abigail character. It just feels like he's just going all out here. The funny voice and the strange actions that the character does, it just fits him so perfectly. He definitely nails it. I think the movie overall is very entertaining. It's definitely a mysterious movie. There's a lot going on that they don't tell you what's happening. It is kind of centered around the central theme of the actual cuckoo bird, which I thought was very interesting. They kind of made it so that the movie itself and what's happening in the movie actually are like central to that title, which I thought was really cool. Like the sounds that the antagonist makes are like cuckoo birds, and the overall storyline at the end comes back to what actual cuckoo birds are like in real life. So I thought that was really cool. That was really well done. It was set in the Alps in Germany, so a very cool setting. It's kind of the strange comparison I had when I was watching this, not in any way to like what the movie is like or the story or anything, but it kind of reminded me of Human Centipede, where you have this central theme of like obviously an animal at the center of things, and it's kind of that weird German, you don't really know what's going on and what the location is or where they are, but it just feels like there's something off. And that's just definitely what this movie gave as well. Great performance by Hunter Schafer. She's definitely going all out here. You got the bandage around the head, kind of an iconic look that's been popping around. I think overall it's a great mystery thriller. There's not too many scares, I would say. There's a few jump scares here and there. And the antagonist definitely has an interesting look, but we can talk about that a little later.
Yeah. So when I went to go see this film, much like you, I did not know what to expect, like at all. I do agree. I think the main scare, that they throw into the trailer, it's a great scare because like when you're watching that trailer, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then, you're kind of expecting it in the movie, which is whatever. But there are other jump scares in the film as well, especially how I think jump scares, it's not just like, oh, like, boo, like, it gotcha, like you're startled. Like, I feel like to make a good jump scare, and I think this film does a great job of this, is how to edit it properly, where either like you keep waiting for it, it's like, okay, well, maybe it's not going to happen. And then like, boom, like it happens. So there are a lot of great jump scares that are edited beautifully in this film, just to start that off. But I usually, when I put things in Letterboxd, like for my initial reactions, I very rarely like write an entire like paragraph, if that. For this one, I commented on it by kind of taking a line from Knives Out, where Blanc was saying, "It makes no damn sense," and then he says, "Compels me though." And that's how I felt about this movie, because there are a lot of mysterious things going on, like Devin mentioned.
It's definitely how Gretchen was feeling throughout this movie. There's a couple of really actually funny moments where it's just like, why does no one else think this is weird? This is weird.
Exactly. And I think that's what I like about the movie so much, is that, and I do apologize, I actually did not give the synopsis to this film, and I'll give that right now. It's just, we're very excited about talking about this movie. But this film, the synopsis is that it is a 17-year-old girl, Gretchen, played by Hunter Schafer, is forced to move with her family to a resort where things are not as they seem. It seems at least that Gretchen comes from a broken family where it looks like her mom has passed and her father has remarried, and she has a stepsister. So, I think this entire movie kind of happens right after the mother's funeral, which you don't see in the film. It's just that is a core part of Gretchen's character, because she, they moved to Germany. She's not happy. She wants to go back to the States. and, you know, kind of just live out the rest of her life. She's in a rock band. She plays the bass, and, you know, she's trying to get back to her band so they can make it one day. Make it on America's Got Talent. Or
yeah, she was jamming out for a little bit there.
She really was.
The headphones definitely came in handy.
Yes, they usually do. It's the best thing ever. Who needs speakers when you have headphones? But much like you, Devin, I think what this film does so well is it shrouds the plot, it shrouds the premise in mystery. And because I was trying to figure out what was going on, but I do feel at the same time, as much as it was, you know, trying to throw all these red herrings, I knew what was going on, but there's still a few things I think I need to watch like an ending explain video or something. Because I think I know what they were doing, but it's kind of lost in translation throughout the way. But throughout the film, you kind of follow, or you do follow Gretchen, played by Hunter Schafer, and you're kind of on the same road as her, like what this place is doing to her psyche because of this weird hybrid conglomerate between humans and cuckoo birds and what is actually, you know, being unraveled. But I thought the action was great. You know, the jump scares were there. It did have some emotional weight to it as well, especially during one scene with that.
Yeah, that was kind of the surprising part. It kind of sets this movie apart from the other ones.
Yeah, and you don't know who's on what side as well. And, you know, you feel like Hunter's character, Gretchen, has never been more alone in her entire life. It's like, it's almost as if no one is there to help her and to help her navigate through things. Like, she does run into a lot of different characters that fall victim to what's out there, you know, what goes bump in the night. But then there's also these strange gray characters that show up that you don't really know whether or not you should trust them or not. And Gretchen's going through that same situation. And then, I don't know, it goes all over the place. But it's so interesting at the same time. I'm surprised I was very excited to see this because I still haven't seen Longlegs yet.
One day, I'm telling, when it hits streaming, it's gonna hit streaming, and I'm gonna watch it. All the lights on.
Well,
middle of the day.
Yeah. Or, you know what would be even better with Longlegs, because I do have a lot of other friends in town who are horror fans. We actually last year we got together and we watched Ouija Board, Mike Flanagan's Ouija Board. So I'm thinking about having them over once it hits streaming at some point, because these are both Neon between Longlegs and Cuckoo, correct?
Yeah, Neon's been killing it. Longlegs passed Parasite for their biggest movie of all time. I haven't really seen how good Cuckoo's doing, but I think it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like Neon is slowly becoming a good horror studio as well. They have other great films as well, you know, Parasite and whatnot, but they've been leading a lot into the horror lately. I guess, you know, they A24 as well with Maxine and whatnot. So, hey, you know, like, it works. But I wanted to pass over to you, Devin, to give you a chance to speak on anything that we have not yet touched on that you would like to bring up. I was actually looking through the trivia for this movie, and there's nothing. There's one thing for the trivia for Cuckoo, and it was originally scheduled for May 3rd, but it was delayed to August 9th for undisclosed reasons. That is very on brand for this movie, because
that is one thing. I think it's really cool that horror movies nowadays are like, they can release at any point during the year. It's not just, it has to be October. Like, I like how we're spreading them out throughout the year so we can get more of them in and just enjoy it throughout the year, not just have them all shoved in at the end. That's been very nice. And this bit of a horror renaissance we've been in the past, like, it feels like 5 to 10 years. It feels like we just kind of been living it up as horror fans because there's just so much to enjoy. For this one, I guess we can talk about the big bad, the monster. I guess we can call her Cuckoo because she kind of is a cuckoo bird. Because she pops up in the trailer. I believe towards the end, there's that scene where I think it was like a hotel or motel room that they were in, and then she just kind of like levitates towards them, which was really creepy in the trailer. I liked how they weren't showing a lot in the first like half of the movie. They weren't really showing the appearance too much. It's kind of like a creepy lady look. But then the closer you got to her and the more you saw of her, it kind of got less scary for me because it just became more of just like a human looking female. I think they should have leaned. Yeah, I think they should have leaned more into the supernatural because she basically has supernatural powers with the cuckoo noises that hypnotize people basically. So I think they could have leaned more into supernatural and given her more of a crazy, out there look, but they went with a more practical, like human type look.
I actually kind of appreciated that for a bit. I'm not gonna lie.
For your own sanity.
For my own sanity, yes. I was like, oh, thank God. But it was, I will say, the more you saw of the...
I'm actually looking in the credits now. The credits say the name is The Hooded Woman.
The Hooded Woman. Okay, yeah. I think that's a good way to describe her. Because, she's... it's like once you see her, it's like, okay, like it is what it is. But it was like her movements and everything was all like freaky deaky. But yeah, like when they were doing the expedition, I guess the grand plan, that's like the lost translation portion. But yeah, when it comes to horror, I agree with you. I'm loving that. I think within any genre that we've gotten recently, I think horror has been the most experimental when it comes to original films.
Yeah, there's just so much variety, and it's just so consistent lately.
I think there's so much more you can do with horror as a genre or thriller, however you want to spin it, or just horror in general. But it's like, it doesn't have to be like demonic or anything like that. Like that new AI Afraid movie where it's like, that's, I don't know. It's such a versatile genre. And for something like this, well, Hunter Schafer definitely just like killed it. Like altogether. Like I felt like I was playing The Last of Us for a second there.
Yeah, I could see those vibes.
Definitely. Like, or gosh, like there's so many others. It's like she
back
gets
to Alan Wake again, the hotel setting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that as well. You get a few detectives in there and whatnot, and there was the road scene that was probably my favorite jump scare, if you know what I'm talking about, Devin, without giving too much away.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that was so like that editing. It was perfect. But yeah, I the only thing I could probably say is just I feel like the grand plan or the expedition of what was going on could have been explained a little bit better, or a little bit more clear, I guess you can say. But I would say everyone here I know we keep talking about Hunter Schafer, but Gretchen's stepsister Alma, played by Mila Liu, I think she did a phenomenal job. Of course, you have Martin Silkas playing as Hunter Schafer's father in this movie, where he's kind of, it's a horror movie, so it's like the parents are there, but they're not really a part of the plot, but they are, and they kind of just like do their own thing. But
it's the classic, they don't believe what's happening is bad.
But like he was a terrible father.
Oh yeah.
Like just did not believe his own daughter, like for anything. Like
was blaming her for everything.
Yeah, it took her getting like super banged up for him to like start paying attention a little bit. But then it's like, even with the stepmother, she's kind of just there. But it is just like another element of, this broken family trying to become a new family or evolve into a new family. And it's like, hey, let's move to Germany because Dad's got work out there, and then everything just starts.
And then evil scientist Dan Stevens comes out of nowhere and starts wreaking havoc.
Is he German?
I mean, the name's not very German, but
no, it's not. But
he was born at Croydon in Surrey. I don't know what that is. Great Britain, I guess.
Gotcha. Did you know he was he had some involvement with the Boy and the Heron?
Yeah, I think I saw that in his.
Yeah.
He was the pelican, the creepy one.
Yeah, the other creepy one, and Solar Opposites.
Yeah, he replaced Justin Roiland in that one.
That's right. He did. But yeah, he does a phenomenal job. He's a great addition to this.
He's really rising the ranks up. He's just one of the most entertaining actors we have out there.
Yeah, I remember seeing him in Downton Abbey. He was in there for a while. He played, I believe it was Mary's husband. That's right. He is British. You did say that earlier. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, that was like my first introduction to him. But yeah, he's been doing a great job so far. Like, it's just nice to see. He's within, 3 movies this year. My gosh. And a TV show. All together. And he's also in a documentary called We Play Games. He narrates for
and he's got Among Us coming out next year, and
oh yeah, I forgot about Among Us.
Something called The Ritual.
That is very true. I wonder because for Hunter Shaver, she's been around for a while. Obviously, most people know her from Euphoria, and she was also Tigress in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And for anyone who's actually, she was in Kinds of Kindness. Duh, totally forgot about that.
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah, very, very briefly. And I'm not sure if you've actually seen Belle. It's an anime movie. I believe it's actually on Netflix. It's very good. She's in that movie as well. I actually need to rewatch that. I was like, wow, that was surprisingly good. But yeah, let's get into our final thoughts and ratings. Devin, what are your final thoughts and ratings for Cuckoo?
Yeah, overall, I think as far as horror movie goes, definitely had me guessing the whole time, which I appreciated. Definitely a great mystery. Not a lot of scares for me personally, especially since they showed the main bike one, which was unfortunate in the trailer. But some great performances here by Hunter Schafer and Dan Stevens really carried the movie. The back and forth that they have is great, and just kind of the battle that they have at the end.
Yeah.
I do wish there was kind of more of like a monster design in this one. It could have been a little scarier, I think.
Like Smile.
Yeah, something like that. Just a little more supernatural or paranormal, because that's just that's where the story went anyways. So it feels like they could have leaned into it a little bit more. But overall, I definitely enjoyed it. I'd probably give the score like around a 76 overall. Definitely a good, interesting time. Like you said, it makes you want to go on YouTube and watch some videos on it and just see what other people are thinking.
Yeah, it definitely does. For my score, I would give it a solid 73 out of 100. I think it's a great step for horror fans. I think it's a great step for the supernatural, and for my own sanity, thank you to the director of this movie. Thank you to Tilman Singer for, I was able to sleep. I was
He
like,
spared
okay.
you a little bit.
So is it fair to say if I can watch Cuckoo, I can watch Long Legs? I don't know what it is about Long Legs. That's like the one where I'm like, I don't know. But is it fair to say?
If you're ever scared while watching Long Legs, you just have to remember that it's Nicolas Cage behind everything. Like, it's Nicolas Cage. You can't be scared by Nicolas Cage.
Is he
He's Long Legs.
Oh, he's long. Okay. I thought it was the other way around. Okay, that's interesting. See, I would know this if I actually watched the movie. I'm gonna watch it. True. I'm gonna watch it before spooky season because I have some plans for spooky season. I think I'm gonna watch all of Buffy the Vampire Slayer because I've never seen it all the way through, and I really wanted to sit down and watch that throughout the spooky season for sure. But yeah, I would definitely give this a 73 out of 100. It's great. I just feel like, I just was at the expedition of what was going on, outside of the flutes and whatnot. I just wish we would have gotten a more streamlined explanation. But regardless, even if we didn't, even if we did get one, I would still, want to see what other people think about this movie. We got to think I got to see what Chris Stuckman's saying about this movie. No, I know he went to go see it for sure. I'm very excited to see what his thought process is. But, you gave this a 60 out of 100. I do apologize.
76.
Oh, 76. For some reason, I thought you said 60 something. My gosh. Okay. So we have a 76 from Devin and a 73 from me. So that is going to be a 74.5 for the official Film Optix podcast score. And with all that said, that does conclude today's episode. If you like what you heard on today's episode, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your preferred podcast platform of choice. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. Don't forget to share an episode of our podcast with a movie lover, whether it be your mother, your brother, or your significant other. Make sure to spread the love of the Film Optix podcast with a movie lover in need. And now, really quick, we're going to go over some new review releases. So for new review releases for the show, we have our Borderlands review that will be out. We have our Borderlands review that is out, as well as our Trap review and our Deadpool and Wolverine review. Definitely check that out, as well as our Batman Caped Crusader Season 1 review. And as far as upcoming releases, we're going to be hopefully going to be covering Umbrella Academy Season 4, the final season, our final send-off for that show. Alien Romulus is the next big thing coming out. I'm so excited, Devin. Did you finish your Alien rewatch?
No, I think I might just stick with the first two. I feel like it just gets messy after that.
It's a little messy, but okay, you got to watch Prometheus and Alien
Maybe.
Covenant. Prometheus was so good. Alien 3, if you ever watch Alien 3, I'll just say right now, that was not David Fincher's vision at all. I think you would actually, I don't know which one is even better. There are parts of Alien Resurrection that I like, but there's other stuff that I don't. Winona Ryder's in that movie. I think she makes Resurrection really, really good. And there's a pretty good twist in that movie, for sure. But as I digress, as I said, we're going to be covering Alien Romulus this coming up week, as well as Blink Twice. I think that comes out towards the end of August. I'm very excited for that one as well. Did you see that Blake Lively movie or no?
No, I saw it's killing it though.
Like killing it as in it's not good, or is like
no, like at the box office, it's like 80 million or something.
Oh, okay. Definitely have to check that one out. I don't know if we'll definitely review that one, but we got to support the entire Ryan Reynolds family all together. But those are just a few upcoming releases that you can look forward to. And again, thank you all for listening. If you enjoy the show, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And stay connected with us by following us on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads for the latest updates. That was Devin, and I'm Christian, signing off. And remember, life is like a movie, so go out there and make it a blockbuster.
Peace.